that if we don't actively approve or disapprove, it's automatically disproved.
Disproved. Oh, okay.
Disapproved. So there will be no automatic approvals. It will be automatic disapprovals if it's not done.
Yeah, we also.
Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. And disapproved.
We can always turn that around if we want to down the line too.
And what kind of process do you think you need to go through to approve it?
It's probably just gonna be a workshop process. As soon as we realize there's like several, we'll set up workshops with the lab and we'll all go through it and then we'll bring it in front of the board.
Okay.
We're not really talking anything without input.
I just want to know, I'm just asking that, what the expectations. Okay.
And we are, I think Jimmy's putting together something for, can you hear us online? I could.
Okay.
And Jimmy's putting together something for the CAC for a lab group. That's what we can start working on, standardizing the testing. We'll see how that goes. Last big one didn't really work out all that well from what I've heard. So that was before me. But
No, maybe I was just out of it. Everybody thinks it was a monumental disaster. That was a no.
I think it started off well and then went off course. This is what happened.
Okay.
But
were there any other, Michael, any other changes you wanted to kind of highlight?
she's going to go through you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the
Go
June 20th version in section 61.
Okay.
So for the most current version, it's specifically whatever was in place June 20th, 2024.
Sure.
There's a lot of pushback by LCB. One of the suggestions is this is not a substantive or formatting change. We for some reason broke out the section 2, the SNPRs, which shouldn't be easy to break out the SNPRs. It's a similar state, it's not a separate standard. They're not treated differently by the CCB than any of the standard in section 1. My big concern is that in any future revisions, if section 2 gets left off,
Not the standards, just 2, just add them into 1 because there's really no reason for it to.
unless it's a cross-reference back in. Because if you look at section 2, it's the same thing. But if it's
So you're saying kill 2 and just add in PQ and just keep going.
Yeah.
RS.
so that there's not,
just keep going.
because
That makes more sense.
Just you don't forget, like she was saying.
Yeah.
in December, I was just like, this is going to get Kevin McAllister and left off. And then all of a sudden, there's a standard that's just an island by itself. So my recommendation is just put CFLC,
But they broke this out?
Yeah.
So you're gonna try and integrate it back in?
just so it all stays in one place.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We didn't have any changes, from 62 or 63. Nothing was brought to the meeting attention. Section 64, we received a comment to require that labs provide us a copy of the decision fees from the accrediting organization and the correction within 2 business days, and that's all in here. So I just want to point that out, that was all incorporated. Section 64.
2 days seems a little tight.
I was just thinking the
2 days is a
same
little
thing.
tight.
I was like, do we think that's enough time? I don't have any experience to know if,
Well, I'm just thinking like.
how long do the accrediting institutions give you to respond with corrections? Is it sufficient?
No, sorry, the report that they gave you provided to us within 2 days. And then any corrections you
Oh.
may just have to be provided to us,
Okay,
not that you have to provide
Got it.
corrections. in
you
2 days.
said, okay.
Sorry, I said that
Well,
wrong.
Well, I even think 2 days. So like, for instance, one of my clients is out of town, the email comes in, they receive it.
2 business days.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what's in there.
I know. Could we up it to like 5? I'm just thinking like logistically, right? Like one of my clients is out of town on vacation.
I don't think
And
it's
somebody comes in.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those things that we're not gonna, if you send it in 4 days, we're not gonna come rolling.
But I know you're not.
You're
And I know you're not. But when we're all gone,
I think
I'm not worried about you guys.
the only concern and the reason it was put to 2 business days is if there's something really egregious on there, like your not competent at testing for pesticides.
Oh, then you
And
wanna
we
see
need
it.
to
Okay.
like see that and maybe like review it and potentially
That makes
have
sense.
you outsource. So that's why we had 2 business days, but we put business days so that if you're
not
out of
over a
town, yeah, or if no one's working that day, or you don't get that email until Monday, that you would have that time.
Okay, I'll make the request for 5, and you can tell me no or yes.
Or we can land on 3.
Yeah. Okay.
I just
Two
think
does
2 seems
seem
a
a little
it's a little short, maybe 3.
You wanna do 3?
Yeah, I wanna do 3, at least 3.
Pretty good, actually. I think that's,
No, a little more reason, okay. Let's do 3.
okay. I'm gonna change that. And then Jackie said it.
So push all their testing through on the 3rd day and then hand it over.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
Section 65, if we go to page 11, or section 4, 5, 4. There was questions about the ethics policy.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that we can do that don't actually require reg changes for this version. So one, I know there were questions about what needs to be on the ethics policy. So if we do templates for all the logs that we require, we could do a template ethics policy just with like broad info that we normally see at a lab and put that in there and say this is an option for you to use, not required, but this would be a compliant ethics policy. And then when we workshop in March for all the regs, we can add it in for the other facility types too.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That was one.
I was holding space for Kimberly to weigh in on this one, but.
Go, Kimberly, go.
but I'll go, I don't get it. I mean, ethics seems like almost a moral qualitative statement, and you have the regulations, you have compliance with the regulations. I just don't understand what this adds, and maybe, and I still think I'd feel the same way even if I saw your rubric of what an ethics policy looks like. I think ethics is just more about how you feel and in your soul, how you approach something. And I don't think it matters from a regulatory standpoint. Whether I like it or not, I'm either in compliance with the regulation or I'm not in compliance with the regulation. And how I reconcile that internally is.
It's like a policy stating that you will provide truthful, honest results. Basically, every single laboratory type, like environmental labs, blood testing labs, all of them have ethics policy. We're like the only laboratory testing operations that don't have an ethics policy. So we're like the weird ones right now. We're the odd man out. This would bring us up to the standards of other laboratory testing facilities.
And can you give me an example of where an ethics policy is mandated for a testing facility in something similar to this circumstance?
Yeah, it's literally every type of lab. So environmental testing labs, for example, they all sign ethics policies. Like I said, blood testing, they sign an ethics policy. We can get copies of those as examples to you. But
it's
common practice.
mandated in the regulations for those types of facilities?
Yeah, I think that because they're federally regulated, they have federal mandate. I can pull some examples.
That would be helpful.
And
I'm just having a hard
the
time.
Band-Aid too, if you can find it.
Yeah.
That's
So that's because I know they've all tried to do it before. In previous ones.
Anyone else have thoughts on
I don't disagree. I agree with you.
ethics?
I agree. I think it's interesting because if you say, like, are we setting up our clients to have regulatory issues if they don't, somebody doesn't comply with an ethics moral standard, but who knows what it is? That's the issue, right? Like, who knows?
Well, that's a secondary issue. I think there's just the
So like, okay, with other laboratory types, I'm just gonna keep going back to environmental lab testing. if you like falsify documentation, if you don't provide honest results, if you're manipulating data, you can go to jail. Like, it's a really serious violation. So we don't do that, we don't go that far. But I thought, like a lot of the other lab testing people, if you do anything like that, there's serious repercussions. We're just saying, can you just have a policy in place for your staff to be honest and not do those things? We're not gonna obviously report you like.
It's like some additional training for the lab.
Yeah.
So then let's just play this out for a second, because as currently written, and I just want to know what your intentions are, because as currently written, it's just, we have to have this in our policies and procedures and train staff on it, or the labs do, similar to like a workplace, right, the workplace
Yeah.
policy that,
Just any answer.
right.
Yeah.
But if someone violates it, there's no,
They're just not following SOP.
right, and that's.
If
for
they
the
violate, they probably
lab.
violated a reg as
Yeah.
well, so.
Well, and that's my point. Do you see my? point?
I
That's my
understand,
point.
but I also get that every other lab has it, why don't we?
I just don't want to open up a new avenue for regulatory
Oh, yeah,
violations.
it's not,
I agree with you that if there is something wrong with the testing results that trips a regulatory provision, then there's that to deal with. But I just don't want,
So,
and also, right, it's for the DAGs in the room where
Well-
they charge it in the complaint and then it's like a lesser
That's-
included offense.
that's what I was gonna say. We see plenty of opportunities to charge,
File those complaints.
to charge a regulatory violation for whatever, you failed to
Right.
fill out this log, and
Right.
a separate violation for you failed to follow your SOPs for the exact same thing.
Yes,
We don't charge that twice.
right,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I mean,
to her credit, Lake and
Yeah.
Amanda and several other folks, right, really worked on, let's not have this panoply
Yeah.
of.
and I'm not sure we would file that twice anyway, even without that, but yeah, we don't file that twice, so.
Okay. I just don't want to open up
And
that
I get
Pandora's
that,
box.
yeah, and I get that the conversation, if we're kind of the third party in the room, but we're not gonna charge that twice, and plus, there's the legislation from 2022 that says we can't charge
Well, I
that
know, but
twice.
you're not.
Exactly.
Well,
Right.
again,
And
fair
so
point,
was
I
just
know,
gonna
fair
say
point,
that.
fair point.
Kimberly has a comment too. She's
Fair point.
raising her hand.
Real quick, it's more for us to verify that your staff have all been made aware that they need to be producing honest results. So even if you get some new lab director that comes in and says, oh, hey, fudge this, they know, like, no, we cannot. do
Don't
that.
put your thumb on the scale.
Yeah.
Don't, yeah.
and it makes sense, because you guys I mean, be real, you guys are all your labs are under a little bit of pressure to manipulate results. Not saying anybody does, it's just, everybody wants above a 20-something, THC value every time the test goes through, and they wanted to pass every single time. So,
As cheap as possible.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Kimberly, did you have something? Nope, she's
Kimberly,
I think she's frozen.
She does, so she
Yep,
texts me.
frozen. If you can hear us when you're back on, Kimberly, just speak up.
She said she tried, but it's like muted or something. It looks like she's frozen.
Well, we'll put a pin in it when she,
Yeah.
Okay.
when she comes back over here with you.
But I think that's all it is. It's just mostly be a reminder to the staff of,
Even if someone pressures
Yeah,
you to
don't-
do so, you're under an ethical obligation not to manipulate it. Basically, is all we want to do.
Shouldn't we just say that instead of that? Don't manipulate, like, be truthful and.
Well, that's account one.
Yeah, that's.
Providing false information to the board.
That's what I said. I mean, it's other places, anyway.
Yeah, I get it. It's just trying to be consistent.
But
Like,
please do.
Yeah, we'll send you.
Shoot it out by email or whatever, just, hey, take a look at this, and this will give you an idea of what we're thinking about, because I'm just,
Yeah, yeah. And
Maybe
we'll
my
make it
own
easy too.
ignorance.
It won't be like, under penalty or, you know, it'll just be. We don't really have anything for section 66.
You guys solved we had the problem on having the laboratories having to create chain of custody documents.
Struck
Did
that.
did we solve it? Oh, so you did solve it. Oh, you did, okay. So you did solve it. All right.
Striking as a solution.
Very solution.
That's my favorite
Okay, so
solution.
that is a check. Number 2 is solved.
57, we didn't have anything. 58, we don't have anything here. You guys receive anything requesting a change. 69. So, but section. Yeah, it's now 69. 70, sure, on page 26.
I'm just going through the things. Okay, so you guys solved that. So this one's done. Sorry.
No, you're good.
That's all cross reference from 2004 to 2005 to this.
Yeah.
All right, then, item 5. That is.
Well, we're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there yet? Okay.
No.
All right. I gotta keep going. Sorry.
So sorry, we're on, you said 26, page 26.
Wait, what was the number you said? Yeah, no.
So this is 11.05, testing methods and quality control.
1105 what?
But I think that you
We
guys
didn't make any
moved it.
changes. That's why it's not on here.
Okay.
So now I'm on 11.
So you have something I bring that up in the, if it's not important changes, bring it up in the workshop.
Was there something you wanted to change from that? It's just easy, I think, previous.
I think it's fine.
So anything before 11:05?
I may come back. Let's do it because I've got 165.
Okay, so section 70, which is page 26 on the document I gave you. You guys were asking for a limited detection for pesticides, so the equal playing field. We set it to 0.1 parts per million. That's what it actually used to be, as far as I can remember, from the Department of Agriculture, before they said none. They used to use 0.1 was their like go-to. So we just brought that back in, so that everyone has the same baseline number. Section 71, which is 11070. We added some clarification, just like in the standard, so like adhering to specific parts of the standard, we added that language back in because we're still going through SB 157.
Where are you? Sorry. I lost you.
Page 28.
Oh.
It's like all orange and green. So orange is what we added back in that we previously struck.
Okay.
Green is new, brand new. So just clarifying, the cannabis cultivation or production facility has to be the one who provides the sample collector with hand washing sink, just to like clarify that. The facility that you're at must be the one that would be for your coverage. And then there was some confusion.
Yes, correct.
So, and then anything that, I know there were requests to move it to NCCR 6, but since that was already adopted, we'll have to do that during the March workshop.
Yeah, so we'll stay here for now,
Yeah,
even though this only goes, they'll have to follow it.
yeah,
Then we'll move it over.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
To the regs for the other facilities, so they know it's their
So they
obligation.
know.
Got it.
Okay, and we can put it in both places, so it doesn't matter, but it makes more sense in 6. We just can't edit 6 right now. Okay, and then there was questions for this section about, allowing, not requiring
Oh, Kimberly's back.
Hey, can you hear us now?
I can hear you guys okay. I just don't think you could hear me earlier. I apologize.
No, we couldn't. Let's jump back to the ethics thing real quick. You got something to say on that?
So I was just going to note that the labs in gaming do not have ethics standards. So what they specifically have is an obligation to maintain independence from the manufacturer, distributors, and other gaming licensees. So there's a standard there that I've recommended for years that be adopted relative to cannabis, because that seems to be what the juggernaut is behind the ethics requirements, making sure that you are independent of your clients. So we could add that language in, but otherwise I think the ASTM standards, the ISO standards, all of those require the integrity and testing and the truthfulness and the accuracy of the results. So I think that those cover the ethics policies that you're contemplating. But if you really wanted to ensure that there is that independence between the labs and the cultivators and production licensees, we could simply adopt the language that they have in gaming, which mandates, again, that third party, that kind of arm length transactions. And it also clarifies the R&D stuff, which I think you guys have done a really good job of explaining how that can be facilitated without violating that independence. So just some things to think about.
Can you send that language to us?
Certainly.
Okay.
Can I ask a question real quick on pesticides?
Yeah.
So we brought up an issue on the pesticide list right now is published by the State Department of Agriculture pursuant to NRS 586.550, right? And then we went through that whole analysis on right now that statute is to be used on, the statute says crop group 19. And then like when we tried to figure out what we were supposed to test for pursuant to this, right, we couldn't figure it out. Did you guys look at that at all?
There's a list on the
It's
website.
It's just hard to find.
Yeah, their
I
website.
think they have since, the CCB has since put it on their website, so it's much easier to find on CCB's website than on Ag's website, but it's on both.
Is it on the website or is there a link to go through to?
It's on Ag's web, it's on a sub page on their website. It's not an independent website. It's
But when you said, yeah, when you
on
said.
their website.
Oh,
It's on, is it on your website or is you link it to Ag's? It's on both. Yeah, I think it's on both.
I think we posted it as a document. I don't
Yeah,
think we linked to
yeah.
our website.
No, I don't think so either. Right.
Well, because when we did it, crop group 19 is defined in 40 CFR 180.04C. They split those,
Mhm.
the crop group 25 and 26, right? So we actually went through like the underlying of it, and there's not a list of the way that it reads, like it doesn't actually specify what we're actually testing for.
Yeah, there's a list of exactly what pesticides to test for on our website and on the Permit Act website.
So should we say that in this reg? Instead of saying a pesticide, well, so like section 72A, should, instead of saying that it's pesticide published by the Department of Agriculture pursuant to the statute, shouldn't we say the CCB shall identify what pesticide should be?
We don't
It's
identify.
not, yeah, it's.
You're not taking on that
It's
responsibility.
Department of Ag. It actually
It's
says,
Department of Ag.
Well, then maybe you should say that, but say we will, I mean, because the problem with this is, and this is a perfect example, is where when you follow the statute, and then it cites to a different crop group, and the crop group changes, then it changes everything, right?
Mhm.
So shouldn't there be some confirmation or some way, and my clients don't know when you read the statute and you follow it, legally, we don't even know where, like, what it is. Like, so isn't there a way to link back and say, hey, CCB confirms, like, this is what it is? Like, you guys can reference it.
They're
and cite it.
able to change the list when they need to. They own the list. We don't alter the list in any way, shape, or form. We only post it on our website, so it's easy for everyone to find. So we have no influence over that list under statute.
When you change the date, you gotta make a request to the Department of Ag.
Yeah, but I don't think they've changed it more than
well, the
one
statute,
time.
the statute has specific grounds for them to change it. So if you go under written guidance on CCB's website and then scroll down here, the pesticide list is right there. And then it links you to a PDF. it gives you the little blurb, the Department of Ag's blurb, and then the physical list is page 2.
But is your issue, how do you identify which ones apply here? That's your issue.
Yeah, so there's a list of pesticides to test for. So there's a specific list.
How
of
is it
what-
identified? I think what his
I
issue
know,
is, it's like
I know,
crop
I-
group 19, and if you go there, it no longer exists. How do you identify it?
we all know that that's the list. The labs are all testing for the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying from a legal standpoint, this doesn't equal that. That's the problem.
Or this doesn't take you there.
Yeah, this, exactly. Thank you.
This isn't your ticket to ride.
Correct. I've purchased a ticket by this statute to a different amusement park. I want to go to that amusement park.
Oh,
Where
that
are we? Where
analogy
is this
just
language?
went
This
a
is on
weird
C.
way. Sorry, everybody.
Are you looking at 2B?
Yeah, 72A.
Oh, 2A.
Yeah.
So it's their acceptable limit list.
Yeah, I think that this, I mean, so from a legal perspective, the statute identifies Department of Ag having the list, creating a list and posting the list. So if Department of Ag decides to post the list somewhere else, CCB doesn't want a reg that says go here, if Ag then moves over here. So I think this is just a reference. I mean, there could be a sentence that says, go to the Department of Ag's website to find the list, but I don't know that it could be any more specific than that.
You don't even want to say what the name of it was, because they can change it anytime they want. Yeah. Well, it's just like-
How is it identified as to what pertains to cannabis?
The whole list is what pertains, because 586.550
Is
is specific to cannabis. So everything on this list
That
is cannabis.
I don't think so, but
Like, don't get me wrong, it's not the best worded statute from a practical standpoint, but from the CCB's perspective of applying the statute that's under Ag's control, I'm not sure they can have a more specific regulation as to where to find it than just say the list published by the Department of Ag.
I guess at the time, maybe they changed it, but at the time that we did this analysis, the list.
Oh, it's terrible to find. Like, it's not, there's not a
Well, it's
button
not
on
even a
there.
matter of, yeah, I mean,
Take a look at it again and see if.
I'll take a look at it.
Tony's
I'll-
point,
I'll-
if NRS 586.550.
Need a list of what to test for, because you don't have to test for everything on crop group
I get what you're
19. It's saying they
Well,
create a
crop group
list.
19 doesn't even exist anymore.
It's separate, it's like subcategory.
Yeah.
It's so there's crop group 19 umbrella.
It's literally
Correct.
just
Yeah. There's just,
It's like a holding company.
yeah, exactly.
There's not underlying crop. It's
586.550.
And sadly, I guess the easiest way to do it, if you can't find the list, call Karen, call the team,
Yeah.
and she will give you the link at the
I mean-
Department of Ag's website. But
I
we
think
don't
this
control
works. Tony just pulled up 550, and it's only with respect to marijuana. So whatever they publish as to 550 is gonna under NRS 586.550.
I guess the problem is this one statute in the reg, right? So the first part of the statute says, hey, we're gonna get this list. That's not the issue. The issue is there's an exemption. So, or allowed to be used on crop 19 as defined in this federal statute.
Yeah, that's true. So the
That's the
statute
problem.
itself is more than just, we have a list. There's three
There's
steps in the
exemptions.
statute,
Yeah,
right?
and there's an exemption that you can,
Oh, I see.
do you see what I'm saying? So, and then crop group 19 isn't defined because it's come down.
So the list basically, the statute basically says, if it's on the list, you can't use it. If it's not on, if the label doesn't allow you to use it, you can't use it.
Correct.
And if the label says there's two label definitions. So if it's on the list, you can't use it. If the label says this, you can't use it. If the label says this, you can't use it. That's what the statute says. So they're identifying the list here, but the statute, which is separate than the regs, right, requires these other two steps.
And your issue is only with A. Am I right?
My issue is with,
Because A is the one that says is exempt from registration pursuant to CFR.
yeah, it's
blah,
one
blah,
A,
blah.
yeah, or allowed to be used on a crop group 19. That's the question,
Right,
because it doesn't define.
but I don't know that they can fix the statutory
No.
misdirection.
we can't touch, statute.
I mean,
And truthfully, I can't touch ag statutes.
it's just a problem. I mean, it's a problem. It's a contradiction.
Well, but I think to the point is, if that leads you to a dead end in the maze, you still have the other, that's not it. Like, it's not game over. There are other, to Tony's point, you can't use it if it's on the list. You can't use it if it's not safe for human consumption. You can't.
Yeah.
So I think that problem is one that has to be solved in the legislature.
Tony's absolutely our expert on this, because he got ramped up.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Kimberly, I don't know if you heard, but on page 26, section 70 of section 3, we added a minimum limit of detection of 0.1 ppm for all pesticides. So it creates that level playing field.
Okay.
All right.
We're all caught up to page 27, or we?
And Kara, can I ask you a quick question about that?
Yeah.
So if the language is adopted and the labs see some pesticide that isn't identified on the list, but it's registering in excess of the 0.1, are they to notify you and say,
Yeah, so
this is what we're finding, or this is what we're testing, or the results are showing?
Yeah, so if it's over 0.1 is the maximum that your limit of detection can be, but for these ones that are not allowed, if you identify it, you should notify us either way, so we can address the cultivator, but it would be a fail if it's over that limit of detection.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so section 71, page 28. Oh, yeah, so Kimberly, we were just saying, we agree some of this stuff should appear in section 6, but since that was already approved, we'll move it during the workshop.
Sounds great. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
And then on page 29, it's actually page 24 where we say you don't have to provide it within 2 days if the CCB allows for an exemption. So if you look at page 24, number 7, it says that you provide the COA to the board unless an extension is granted by the board. Then you shall provide within 2 business days after the request is received. But if you're like, hey, they haven't paid us, we'll just email you right back and say you don't have to post them.
Okay.
So that's the solution.
Where do you want those requests to go?
The general lab email, it's like lab, you know what that email is?
It's one of those like audit inspections or
Yeah.
program support,
Yeah.
or there's another
It's a
one that's.
laboratory.
Got it.
Laboratory, like that.
Okay.
Okay.
I know one of
You
the
can also
questions.
email me. I always respond quickly.
I know one of the questions they're going to ask me when I go back is there, because this was a big issue for it, right? Like being forced to give up stuff before getting paid, right?
Yeah.
They're going to ask me, is there any way to put something in here that says that instead of like, you're going to give an exemption, but again, when you leave and I leave and you leave, you're all gone, and the next person's in your place, they may not agree to that or do that. So even though you're telling me, hey, Adam, if the labs
Just ask
have
me
to ask me for an extension because I haven't been paid. There's nothing in here that actually protects my clients from a.
New leadership.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly, right?
How would we even word?
I don't know, think about that, and we'll think about it at the workshop, and if you can come up with some language that won't be too offensive to the industry as well, then we'll throw it in on the next.
Yeah, we
Because
we don't need
won't
Dallas
be able
Court
to-
doing another 15-minute dissertation about the non-payment. So I'll work on some language.
If you get that in the workshop, then we can start it on that and move it forward at that point. It's just gonna be too much on what's already been approved. Yeah.
Right, because this won't work for like, once we all leave and then the new person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it should, I mean, we have a policy for it that we're gonna approve it. I don't know, do we have actually a drafted policy for that or?
No.
Maybe we should do that, yeah, just so it's in there.
Work on
Yeah,
language.
we just put you on the level playing field. I know that we had that other guy come in and complain that you guys get to do this, so we should be able to do all this other stuff. And I'm like, no, we're just allowing them to say, no, pay us before you get the product, just like you can do.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
already can.
They already
But
can, we
labs
can't.
can't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. All right, so we got everything on that section. So now I'm on section 72, page 32, and 1175. Is that one good everything?
Did you address the retesting?
So,
71? Because that was one other item.
so I think it's somewhere else, because I remember writing that one.
You're talking about providing the certificate of analysis regarding.
Well, there was a retest. I thought
Oh,
there
I
was a
just found this one,
retest.
it's section 72.
Oh, it's
That's what I'm
72,
gonna go
okay.
over right now.
Oh, okay.
So in subsection 4, we added the orange language that says that cannabis independent testing laboratory may not retest the lot, production, or example, blah, 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 without approval by the appropriate board agent. So if you wanted to do R&D at your facility, there's a approval request for that. If you want to just like practice or train, that's something that you can already have in your SOP. But if you're like, hey, we want to see what we would get if we ran this, you know, repeatedly, you would just submit a request to us and we would approve.
We're doing some calibration
Yeah.
checks this week, so we'd like to take this sample and just run it across.
Yeah, so that's that language that gives you guys the opportunity to do more than what you're currently allowed to do. And then, again, we can't move any of this to section 6 because it was already approved, but if you want any of this stuff in section 6, then we can do that during the March workshop.
I think this one's here, but not.
I think so. There were some. Yeah.
I just have a quick question. Could the labs write up in their SOPs specific to training, how they would utilize a sample and how they would document it to ensure, again, the whole chain of custody so that there's no ambiguities? Would that be acceptable so that they could do it for training purposes without asking for permission?
Yeah, you could, but I would recommend shooting an email to the laboratory team and just highlighting it and saying, can you please respond with approval? Because we
Okay.
don't normally approve SOPs, but if you highlight a section and say, is this okay? We can approve it, just so you have it on your documents.
Sounds good. And I think the same thing with respect to new instrumentation. When the labs get those, they'll obviously want to do some runs and things like that. So again, just keeping up with you guys and letting you know and having that verbal, you know, back and forth and then in writing, I think is really helpful. So thank you for doing that. That'll be helpful.
Oh, it was section 11 that might fit better in 6. It's about post-harvest treatment or remediation, how they have to notify the lab.
Mhm.
We have it in the lab section, but it would probably fit better in NCCR 6. So we can move in March workshop.
Okay.
And then the last one is section 73, the very last page. We added the language in green in subsection 4. So this just clarifies that if we're investigating test results from a laboratory, say like potency inflation or something like that, it's them who are under investigation that are responsible for the payment incurred. So if you guys, say one of your labs is doing the retesting for our investigation, that initial lab is responsible for paying you. And that's in red now, that they have to pay you.
Right.
What did we have?
I think that one over everything I brought up. Check.
Yeah, Kimberly gave us a good list of everything we went over.
Yeah.
That's what we used to.
And I think everything, again, that we've discussed is really helpful. I can send everyone copies of the gaming language. And then I can also work on that one section with respect to the language on page 24, dealing with the no payments and everything. I can kind of rewrite that to make sure that it's very clear. So if you'd like me to, those are two areas I can work on.
And for some reason that doesn't work, we'll put a little policy in for us that that's what this language is for, so it survives us.
Yeah. But I don't want to put any limitations on why we would allow you to hold a result.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like for this reason, like so specifically.
Yeah.
But if it's something else comes up that we have thought of.
Yeah,
So
for
it's very
example,
generic.
Yeah.
the lab thinks that a result is suspicious and they need to,
Yeah,
and it's gonna take them longer than 2
Right.
days to kind of figure it out and rerun it.
like they failed for all pesticides. Like that would be a good reason not to release your results.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or else the cultivator's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so what's the next step? So I'll take this back to the clients, get feedback, then we'll do the same for all our clients, then give it back to you, then what
Yeah.
happens next?
If you're good with the language, you're always good with the language, then I'm just going to send this to LCB.
Okay,
Because there's enough changes where LCB is going to have
they're
to.
gonna have to look at it.
Yeah.
So I will try to get the cats wrangled within a week or two,
Okay,
is hopefully what I can do.
Sounds good.
Okay,
because then once we get it back from LCD, we'll post for 30 days for the board to adopt.
okay,
And that's
Yeah.
the final.
And on here for a couple weeks, I'll book you.
okay, I'll get them.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you
Yeah.
have a target or is it all subject to the whims of LCD, so you
Yeah,
don't
it's-
have
who
a
knows?
specific goal? Okay.
And if we make any edits,
I wish I did.
based on what you all send back, we'll probably send you a final version to review and make sure.
That'd be good.
Yeah, if they do
Yeah.
anything.
Like a, like
Yeah,
that policy if we change any of that.
Or if you get it back from LCB and there's changes,
Yeah.
even just to
Yep.
format.
Let's go through. Yeah.
Okay. Go fight win.
Sounds good. No problem there.
All right.
Under now.
Thank you for working on this. This is
Thanks,
great.
everybody.
Appreciate it.
Oh,
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, guys. Really do appreciate the time and effort.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda, did you get a copy?
Oops. She got off
She's
quick.
she's
It's like, I'm out. Yeah, forward the management.
Yes.
Oh, she does?
And,
Oh, she's got
yeah. Yes.
I hope the NSA, the CAC subcommittee actually helps with a lot of the other problems too, and start getting specific tests and more standards that we can actually put as a regs. We'll go from there.
Also, Hannah is working with, I think it's AOAC